I'm just shooting right now because I'm going for a pickup in the town of Pioneer, Ohio, and I am transitioning farmland and farm roads, and I like them. I think they're enjoyable to drive on. Not fast, but I like going down these roads. I got like squeal marks. And I got the sun behind me, which makes it look nice. And I've got a load going to Bowling Green, Ohio. It's apparently a 30-pound box. Don't have a clue what it is. But I am about 50 or 60 miles west of Toledo for this pickup. They started paying for it. Does it work? Drive around in the city and in crowded areas, bumper-to-bumper traffic. You don't really get to appreciate country like this very often anymore. Northwest Ohio, heading for Pioneer, the town of. And there's one of those signs, that yellow sign across the intersection right there. A little horse and buggy on it. That kind of cracks me up. I didn't know they had Amish this far west. I thought it was more of a New York, Pennsylvania thing. About to bounce over the tracks. Yep, we're in the country all right. You got the farms, you got the wide open spaces, and you got the railroad tracks. That pretty much covers the requirements. Road apples. I haven't heard that one in a while. Asking where, like I said, we're at this moment, I think I'm about 40 miles straight west of Toledo, heading west. So I'm heading to the town of Pioneer. I don't even know what I'm looking for. I got an address. Picking up a single box and heading to Bowling Green. Bowling Green, Kentucky specifically. See some corn back there. And what's the standards for corn? Knee high by the 4th of July. and it was about knee high. I've been listening to an audiobook here recently talking about the Korean War and how wildly unprepared the U.S. military was for the Korean War. They had this incredible war-fighting machine coming out of World War II. And as soon as the war ended, they sliced the military to pieces, shrank it, demobilized, discarded, sold, destroyed, or surplus sold all of the equipment, all based on the theory that the atomic bomb was going to make traditional war and traditional warfare obsolete, which it did not. They stopped training, and the U.S. government's looked in a different direction. And the thing that always cracks me up about war planning is every war is based on, the planning for any future war is based on the last war. And the next war is not going to be like the last war. It never is. So they went into that completely sideways, unprepared. The only military force we had near Korea was stationed in Japan, and it was an occupation army, which basically meant they hung out and enjoyed the life, and they were paid what was considered a lot of money at the time, so they could have a houseboy to do their cleaning, and they didn't go out of the field to go training. And somebody declared the Japanese real estate wasn't really suitable for tank warfare, so they didn't even have armored vehicles in Japan. And you're like, wow. They just thought the atomic bomb was going to stop all future warfare. Yeah, it didn't work. Whew. I mean, yeah. I like history. I like reading history. I like listening. Going down the road, I get to listen to it. Yeah, if you haven't lived on a farm, or at least spent a few nights sleeping on a farm, you're missing out. You got to crack a window open and listen to the sounds, and sometimes a lack of. You can hear the trains, either close or far. You're not in a city. It's a neat experience. I just spent a night. So I was for 2 days on the old family farm there in New York, and I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the vibe. I enjoyed hanging out with my cousins. My cousin's getting ready to turn 50. I'm getting ready to turn 57. And that was literally the first time that my cousin and I, as adults, have ever sat down and had a conversation beyond 30 seconds. And we kind of sat around. We drove around a little bit, but we were just sitting on the porch, enjoying the wind and the breeze and the sun. And there were flowers hanging close by, and playing with his dog. And just having a conversation like adults was really enjoyable. He's got a dog that has, it's a golden retriever with unlimited energy, that was chasing a ball or a stuffed pig or a stuffed chicken. Whatever you threw, he would chase it, and the dog never gets tired. I've never seen that before. And that was fun. And one of the biggest differences I noticed between my cousin and his wife, my cousin-in-law, is something that my wife and I and everybody around us does that they don't do, is we always seem to be playing with our phones. It just, I don't know, it's natural for us to sit there and be talking and playing with our phones. I don't even know why we do it. They don't. And because they didn't do it, I didn't do it. And you know what? I enjoyed not doing it. So I think I'm gonna change the way I do business with my phone. I don't know, just enjoyable just spending time with people, spending time with family. That was kind of a neat experience. I think the wife and I are going on a trip in, let's see, tail end of this month. So we're what is today, 10th, 11th? 2 days, 2 weeks from now, wife and I are going on a trip course, I'll be filming that. We're near Houston. We're going to be flying to Chicago from Houston, jumping on the Amtrak Empire Builder, and heading to Seattle. It's a 2.5 day trip. We have a sleeper unit, and then we're going to jump on a plane and fly home. That's our big vacation for June. I think as it stands, we're going to go back out to New York. I'm going to bring my wife. We're going to go back to the family farm and hang out for, I don't know, a few days. There is my job, had me in the area over a weekend. Unless you're loaded, you're probably not going to get a load over the weekend. So I was in the area, and that's why I stopped by, and I really absorbed the history of our family. It's on that real estate in extreme western New York up on Lake Erie, bouncing off the Pennsylvania border. They've owned it. It's been in the family for ever. And everybody talks about it. When did your family migrate? And they say, my grandmother was, remember, they called it the Sons and Daughters of the American Revolution, some kind of organization. I can tell you that when the Revolutionary War happened, our family was on its third generation. And that's not tooting a horn. That's telling you that our family were freaking horse thieves in Europe and got caught, packed their bags, and left in like 1705 or something, and came over here because they were running away from the law. That's essentially what happened. So that's how far back our family goes, and that they ended up in that area around that time. But the history of that area, it's nice, quiet town, and everybody's friendly, and everybody waves, and it's just, I don't know. I want my wife to experience that, so that's why we're packing up here in August and heading out just to spend some time. And my cousin showed me the train viewing area. If you go back on some of my videos here taken the last few days, you'll see that there's 3 sets of railroad tracks across the street through the bushes. They're right there. And I like being close to train tracks, and a lot of people do. It's soothing. And when I was a kid, I spent 1985. I was 17 years old, and I spent a summer living with my grandparents. And these trains are going by, right there. And I'm asking myself, as a child, I was actually scared to death of the trains. I don't know why. I'm sitting there, and these trains are going by, and they're noisy. And I'm going, how do you live like this? How do you live with trains 60, 70 feet out your window? How do you do that? And my grandparents said, oh, gee, after a while you don't notice it. And I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. And then one night we're sitting in front of the TV watching whatever, and I didn't hear a train go by the whole time we were on the show. And I'm like, huh. And then I'm paying attention, a bunch of trains go by, I go, okay, whatever. And then I'm out working around the farm, and I didn't hear a train for 3 days. And then I stop and look, and trains go by again. I'm like, wow, your brain literally blocks that sound out when it doesn't want to hear it. And that kind of caught me off guard. But as an adult, I like being near the sound of trains. I like trains. I like the horns. My wife will be doing something, and she'll hear a horn train whistle in the distance, and she'll stop what she's doing to listen because she enjoys that. So late August, I'm going to work my job up here in the Northeast, and I'm going to get my van over into that area again, and I'm going to fly the wife out, and we're going to go run around. And my cousin took the time to point out, which I made a video about that. It's on here someplace. They have an actual train viewing area, and they've changed some weird laws about, we used to walk on the railroad tracks, nobody really cares. Well, now they're getting kind of a little more tight about that. They don't like people being on the tracks, and they think everybody's a terrorist or something. But some old guys found an area close to the railroad tracks, so they would sit and watch the trains go by and wave, and it's just a thing to do, watch the trains. Well, they now have, the rail service gave them some real estate to actually set up, and I shot a video of it, and I just kind of got a kick out of the idea that somebody made a designated place to sit and watch trains, which I thought was funny. And my cousin took me there, and there were 3 people sitting there in the shade at a park bench. And I walked over and started talking to him, and the guy looks at his watch, and he said, a train's going to be here in 5 minutes. And I'm like, how would you know? And he says, oh yeah, I heard the whistle. When it blows the whistle at the so-and-so station down the way, that tells you he's 5 minutes away because apparently they've been there doing this long enough. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Ooh, he didn't like a radio or anything. That's all right, that's kind of interesting that you have that kind of knowledge. You know, and when I was a kid, again, on the family farm, we had Burlington Northern, and then you had Santa Fe. Those were the two big carriers, and they merged at some point. So that's why you see BNSF is everything. It's Burlington Northern, Santa Fe. Occasionally you'll see a Santa Fe train because they didn't change the name. It's rare these days, but you used to see it. Oh yeah, they used to have cabooses, and then in the early 80s, the cabooses started disappearing. Which kind of sucks. Okay, I'm getting ready to get to my destination here, so I gotta go offline for a few, but I'll come back on.